Hey, good morning, Mortgage Coach community, and welcome to another Tuesday morning call. Every Tuesday, 9 o'clock Pacific, we are here to answer questions, deliver inspirational ideas. Everybody here has something in common, and that is that you believe in providing education to families. You believe in it so much that you've turned it into a competitive advantage with Mortgage Coach. So hopefully what most of you are doing is that every time you're meeting with a family, you're forwarding them a total cost analysis. Many of them, I would say most of them, are going through that on a mobile device, whether they come into your office and you're delivering a Mortgage Coach experience, whether you go into a Realtor's office, you're always delivering this, just call it next level educational experience. So last week I had an amazing millennial mortgage professional from Prime Lending, Paul Sheshabera, on the call, and it was just awesome. I mean, it was one of the, I would say, one of the best top producer interviews from a Mortgage Coach perspective. It's already trending. I expect this to be one of the most viewed and one of the most used training resources. We put it in our all-time best playlist, best of the year. And if you did miss this call, highly recommend you check it out. Paul did a great job, and I think it's pretty obvious why the guy is so successful. Today, it's all about Mr. Jeremy Forcier. Jeremy, welcome to the call, brother.
What's happening, Mr. Savage?
Hey, in fact, I know there's no one that I've interviewed more than you. As I was preparing for today's call, I went to our YouTube page and I did a search by your last name. And I knew we did a lot of calls together. I knew we created a lot of content. But I was like, wow, some of the best Mortgage Coach inspirational content that's ever been created has been done by you, brother.
Oh, thanks, man. We're happy to share.
Yeah, so I want to make this as Q&A driven as possible. The inspiration for this call came from a conversation you and I had a few weeks ago. But I do want to relive some moments from the past. Bro, do you remember this shot right here with Roberto Monaco?
Dude, that is straight up Throwback Thursday on a Tuesday. That is awesome.
Right? Think about how young we were back in those days, man. It wasn't that long ago, but man, what a great inspirational event that was.
Yeah, no, what was that, six years ago or something like that?
I don't know, man. It wasn't that long ago, but yet it feels like it was way long ago.
Yeah.
By the way, everybody, we're holding arrows in our hands, and Roberto had us do this drill where you put an arrow, with a point on it at your throat, and we broke it with our throat. Do you remember that?
Of course, man. It's one of the highlights of my life. I was so scared. It was unbelievable.
I know, man. Thought we were going to puncture our Adam's apple. Anyways, hey, so the inspiration for this call started when you and I were catching up a few weeks ago, and I just said, what's going on? How's business? How are you doing? And you just went off. And I was like, I wish this was recorded. I wish we had the whole Mortgage Coach community on. So why don't we just replay that a little bit? And, how's your year going, bro?
Oh, my year's great, man. It's better than I deserve. I mean, I'm very grateful, and it's, a lot of hard work, a lot of momentum over the years, and it all comes to a point and when it's better than you could have ever dreamed. You can just live in gratitude. So it doesn't mean it doesn't come with a bunch of pain and whatnot, but the year's been incredible. Record year on personal production, and over the last 3 years I've helped open 16 different branches for my company that I help run as well. So it's been a ridiculously very busy time. Record months back to back to back to back, between 30 and 50 units a month, personal production for 13 million, 15 million, 16 million, 21 million this month we're projecting on personal production, and all the while the region that I'm running, we're closing $150 million a month. I mean, so it's really a special, incredible time right now. Very blessed.
So what do you think you'll close out the year from a personal production standpoint? What do you think? How many units, ballpark, and how many millions do you just get a feel for?
Yeah, no problem. So I will probably end up around 139 million, right around there. on about 300 to 350, somewhere around there, 350 units, 370 units, something like that.
So let's put that in perspective. There's, 350 units is 350 families that you were able to win their trust, solve their problems, and help them, whether it was a refinance or buy a home, deliver massive value. How many realtors are referring you business right now? How many realtors are you getting referrals from on a, I don't know, monthly, every couple month basis, just so we get a feel for how many realtor relationships you're managing?
So that's always a funny question, because I think that we all think we're better than we are, and we all, including me, and we think that we have like all these great relationships. So I track this stuff pretty detailed, and I do a wake-up call every month and look at my account pyramid, and I have 42 realtors that are actively referring me like 3 or more closed transactions in a year. And in my market, I mean, every market's different, in my market, there's hardly anyone that does a lot of units as a realtor, just being frank. I mean, you have, your outliers, a couple people that do, 50 plus, 60 plus units as a realtor, but outside of that, you're a top producer in my market if you're doing 20 a year. So I have about 42 that are actively referring me 3 or more closed transactions a year, and then I have just under 100 that will onesie-twosie me per year as well.
And then what would, like, if you thought of your top 2 or 3 agents, how many loans a year are they worth, just to get a feel for, the top of the mountain?
So my top referral source, I'll close about 31 units this year I'm tracking right now. From a realtor standpoint, and then
how many over 20? Oh, go ahead. Second.
Yeah, so just 3. I only have 3 that are over 20.
Okay, but still, and so, I mean, folks, you're talking to one of the country's absolute most successful mortgage originators. There you have it. He's managing, and he's won the trust and relationship of 42 realtors. He's got 3 that are providing over 20 transactions a year. And he's got 100 that, they're referring to business. So, I mean, that is managing a lot of relationships. And so let's add on to that, everybody, because, like this call is all about maximizing your potential. And I think that if we just ended the conversation, the story right there, Jeremy's managing a lot of relationships and kicking a lot of butt, but that's not it. I mean, he's also, recruiting, mentoring, coaching. Tell us a little bit about that. It sounds like you've built a region that's doing over $1 billion, but how many relationships are you managing? I just want to get a feel for that.
Yeah, so I always think relationship management is a trip to me. I mean, because you have different categories of relationships, right? Like in a perfect world, always being transparent with everyone here on the call, like I would work with 10 agents that referred me, 3 deals a month each. That would be like the perfect business. But so is life. Nothing's perfect. So you have to adjust to what the reality is of your market and your relationships. I'm always trying to top grade though, those relationships, so that maybe one day I will get there. And if I don't get there, the byproduct of that is just tons of deals and relationships, even if they're onesie-twosies. So as far as like timing, between originating and managing and corporate responsibilities and stuff like that, I'm only originating probably 50 to 60% of my time from a personal production standpoint, and then the rest is involvement with the branches and training people, doing site visits, visiting my people, talking to them, working with operations, doing new protocols, et cetera, et cetera. So that's how my time is spent on a daily basis, and I am a psycho about my time. Dave, you know that. I'm just kind of like obsessed with it, of maximizing time in a day, every second. It drives my team insane, but that's how you can produce extraordinary results when the same time that's given to anyone is that you have to make sure you don't waste 1 second. So I'm managing, I have 47 loan officers that in some way, shape, or form, I'm responsible for or help. and we're always adding, to that over time as well. And then there's the operations piece too, which is a bear, and I'm helping with that as well with the executives on our management team in our region and what we built and hired. So all in all, it's about 170 relationships, not counting my realtors and my personal production.
Got it.
Yeah, if you look at it that way. So about 250 to 270 all in.
And in your region, it sounds like you guys are trending over $1 billion in your region. Is that fair to say?
We'll do well over $1 billion, closer to 1.5 billion. And right now we're trending, if you look at the 12-month moving forward progression, what we're trending, it looks like next year will be 2 billion.
Wow. So folks, I mean, we set the table. I mean, there's just a lot of success going on in Jeremy's world. And you heard, him say, I am fanatical about my time, how I spend it, how I manage it, and always top grading. How can I do it even better? I'm going through the Darren Hardy's Insane Productivity program right now with a little over 100 mortgage coach members, and it's been, the phrase insane, but it's been an insane journey to just optimize our time. So by the way, that's one of the questions that came in on LinkedIn. It said it like this: He's one of the best. Ask him how he manages times and sets priorities so that he can be a top producer and a top coach at the same time. How would you answer that, Jeremy?
So I mean, it's just like everything. So the first thing that I'm going to say about time is that you have to have a vision for what you want to do first. I think that we do it backwards. Usually we just rather than responding because we didn't have the right vision in place to begin with. So I knew what I was trying to build, which made it easier for me to know A, where to spend my time, and B, to know that I need a lot of help doing it. It's not like I did this. I didn't do this by myself, build a house by myself. I didn't build Noah's Ark. I didn't do all that. I have so many people helping me. So the first part is knowing what you want it to look like. The second part, before you even get to the insane time management, is making sure that you have enough people that are going to help you. So you can't do it alone. Like if you're a producing branch manager and you want to close 10 loans a month, okay, and then you want your branch to close 40 loans a month. Well, if you're going to spend your time 50-50 between production and management, that means that you need to be overstaffed, in my opinion, by 1 to 2 people on your personal team so that you can go do that stuff. And you have to invest in people on your team so that they can take care of all that other stuff that you may be doing right now, whether it's looking at loan documentations, cleaning up loan applications, disclosing, whatever it may be. I've removed myself from basically everything outside the process, outside of initial consultation, and then, of course, Mortgage Coach Edge videos and presentations. That's really what I'm doing. Is if I was going to do 3 things, it's consultations, Mortgage Coach Edge presentations with videos, and then the third thing would be celebrating. So I'm involved in all of the celebrations. Loan is approved, loan is pre-approved, loan is approved, all the milestones, loan is clear to close, loan is funded. So that's a very easy way to maximize time in a loan process and then figure out how to have everyone else do everything. So that would be my answer. Is it's 3 parts. You have to know what you want it to look like first. You have to have help. You cannot do it alone. And then you have to know what are the 3 things that I can do on a daily basis. If I only did those 3 things, will be the highest dollar activities. And I've identified those 3 things for myself as consultations, initial consultations, mortgage coach videos and presentations, and number 3 is celebrating wins. If I was going to add a 4th one, it would obviously be if there's ever any issues, which there's always an issue, guys. If there's ever any issue on a loan that my staff can't handle, that I make sure I have their back and that I jump in and get involved.
Got it. So couple things I want to clarify. What percentage of the time that you deliver a total cost analysis are you adding a video to it?
So I would say that I'm down from that, and the only reason I say down from 100% to probably like 89.9% of the time, adding a video that is, I still 100% of the time do an edge. The only time, the 10% that I'm not adding a video right now is when either I've been drinking late at night and I'm doing them, or if I'm just, or if I'm just like so tired and ragged looking that I just can't bring myself to talk. So those are really the only 2 times that I'm not adding a video, but I mean pretty close to 100% every time. I mean, it saves you so much time. You can counter every objection in the video. You can answer questions that you know that they're going to ask in the video. I mean, every time I don't want to record one, yesterday I was really tired at the end of the day, had to get to coaching the soccer game and then the soccer board meeting, and I was like, okay, if I don't do a video on these 3 before I leave, I could save 2 minutes and 40 seconds time. I can save 10 minutes. And instead I sat and I had the conversation with myself, but how many questions am I going to get asked if I don't do the video? How much time is that actually going to cost me? And so I ended up doing the videos for all 3. But answer your question originally, I'd say 90% of the time, 9 out of 10, I'm adding a video, and it should be 100% is the goal. So shoot for the goal of 100% and then deal with 90% still in A.
Love it, love it. So hey, just a reminder, everybody, you can be adding that video from your mobile phone. If you haven't figured out how to do that, I actually just went to our website. I went to the member services section, clicked on Getting Started Guide. That Getting Started Guide is also in our handout section, but just a reminder, you can add that video with your mobile phone. So if you're not doing that, you should be doing that. As Jeremy said, it will save you time. So Jeremy, let's back up a little bit, because you said something else when you answered that question. You're really clear on what you're here to do and what your why is. Yes. And I've also noticed you're really clear on why you use Mortgage Coach. So let's kind of do it in that order. First of all, well, by the way, while you're doing that, I also want to draw attention to a project I've been working on, and we're going to be releasing in the next couple of weeks. It's called the Mortgage Coach Values and Why Worksheet. That's going to help everybody on this call get really clear on your values as a mortgage professional. So like, what's your mortgage why? And then, of course, what is your mortgage coach why? But Jeremy, how would you answer that? What is your mortgage why?
Yeah, sure. I mean, my purpose, my why, and my mortgage why, I'm very, very, very clear on. I have it written on my wall. I mean, my purpose right now, and remember, purpose evolves over time. It can change. I think that we get sometimes so confused that like we make up these things and we say that that's it, and like things change, your life changes. But I just redid this like 3 weeks ago, so it's very fresh, is that my purpose right now for my life and where I'm at is to impact and improve the lives of as many people as I can through gratitude, generosity, and graciousness, while providing legacy income for my kids' for life. So that is my personal purpose right now, is that to impact and improve the lives of as many people as I can through gratitude, graciousness, and generosity, while creating legacy wealth for my kids' for life. So every action that I do, everything that I do has to be in alignment with that. That's my filter currently. If it doesn't include gratitude, if it doesn't include graciousness, if it doesn't include being generous, if it doesn't include a money-generating, very profitable activity that's going to create income for my kids and their kids forever, I'm not going to do it. So that is my filter and my purpose currently. Now, my mortgage why is very, very simple as well. My tagline is good people deserve great advice. And I really believe that. Like, I feel that I'm not a salesperson. I'm not selling anything anymore. I literally am just giving the best advice possible so that the loans and the transactions and what all of these customers and families want to accomplish will actually happen. Not that it might happen, but that it will actually happen. And that's what good advice is. Sometimes good advice is telling someone, like, I really don't think you should buy a house. I do that all the time. Sometimes good advice was telling this woman who came to see me last week who wanted to refi, couldn't really qualify, her husband just passed away, she was underwater for so long, I did the comps, looks like she has $100,000 in equity, and she wants to stay in the house, but I literally told her, listen, you need to sell your house right now, because if this thing moves the other way, you have nothing. and you're older. You should look at different ways to live. What's going to happen if you can't get upstairs anymore? What's going to happen? And so do I talk people out of a commission for myself all the time? Yes. But the great advice is what attracts all the other people. And that's what being generous is with other people. That's what being gracious and having grace with other people is, understanding their circumstances and giving them space. And then just being grateful that we get to give that great advice to people to impact their lives.
Love it. And so when you think, your mortgage why really clear, your mortgage coach why, you're on the call with a lot of mortgage coaches. What is your mortgage coach why?
So my mortgage coach why is way more selfish than the other two. So the mortgage coach why is because it creates an unbelievably simple, fast process that will convert sales in the shortest period of time. Okay? My mortgage coach why is it's a simple, fast process that will convert sales in the shortest period of time. So that's where the money comes from, in my opinion. The money comes from me using Mortgage Coach. And I've said this for years, and it just becomes more and more apparent every day that I use it, is that whenever anyone comes, I do a lot of site visits now, Dave, for people within my company and outside of my company that want to come in and watch me work. And I always warn them, cool, just so you know, I literally work every day. So you're going to watch me work, and then we can debrief at the end of the day, over lunch, etc. But they get to see me doing all this stuff, and everyone always goes, gosh, I really need to use that mortgage coach. I have it, and I just don't use it the way you do. Or, gosh, that software system you use, I really need to use that. It's always a huge takeaway for people. And then feedback that I always get as well is that they say, how come your phone doesn't ring? Off the hook, you have 63 escrows going right now. How come your phone literally rang maybe 20 times throughout the whole day? Well, that's because I use awesome tools like Mortgage Coach. If I can counter all their objections, if I can lead them to a great decision, all in a video and a presentation that they can see on their phone, on their iPad, on their computer. Hell, I did one, Dave, I think I sent you a picture a couple months ago, where I was at my house drinking with a buddy at 12:30 a.m. We're having a little too much wine, and he's asking me about refis, and I kind of tore him up and was like, dude, we've been talking about this for 3 months. Listen, I'm going to give you some tough love. You're being an idiot. And he's like, well, let's see it again. And I pulled it up on my big screen TV at 12:30 a.m. while we're drinking wine, and someone took a picture of me doing it, pointing out all the stuff to him. Guess what? That guy's closing next week. So using those tools, okay, selfishly, and you need to be selfish in your business when it comes to monetization, by the way. It's great to be selfless in your advice and helping people and all of that stuff, but when it comes to profits, that's a big reason why we're doing what we do, to make a living. So you have to use the tools that are available to you. I just happen to use Mortgage Coach 100% of the time. So that's my answer.
I like the answer. I know it's right. I've interviewed too many top producers that, they would tell you that the total cost analysis saves them time for all, converts the borrower, gives good people advice, all the different ways you say it. Now, why do you think some loan officers or many loan officers don't use it? There's people that go to your site visits, they get that as one of the top takeaways, and then they either forget or they don't take action. I mean, why is that? Why do you think some loan officers? Any thoughts or opinions on that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So one, I think that generally speaking, people in general are pretty lazy. I just think that it's lazy to not use tools that are easy to use, that are available to you, that are going to make things easier, faster, and you can work smarter. So I think, and when I say lazy, I don't mean that in a super negative way. I think that we think it's harder than it is, okay, which makes us lazy in exploring new things, because we're all creatures of habit. So we have to change the way that we're thinking about our business and really look for what's going to make this easier, what's going to make this a better experience, and how fast can we execute it. So the stuff isn't hard to do. It's simple but not easy. Those are two different things, okay? Simple is simple. Easy is different than simple. They are mutually exclusive of each other. Something can be simple and still be difficult to learn or whatever, but it's still simple. So always focus on simple, and that will always have the highest rate of return in my opinion. But I think people are lazy. I think people are creatures of habit. They need to change their mindset and the way they're thinking about it. And number three is I think people spend so much time reacting in their business that they don't have time to execute and actually work on their business. Like I have an hour, 2 hours, Wednesday and Fridays, where I have 2 hours booked out every single week that is literally just for working on my business, looking at issues. I did it yesterday. I have a punch list sitting right here actually of all the little things that we have to change in the next month, whether it's a conference call with underwriting to see if we can do a new stopgap of submissions of files that truly weren't ready, whether it's making sure that 100% of the time a cover letter is in the file, not 80% of the time or 60% of the time. Making sure that we're communicating on appraisals and why the appraisal says $900 but we're crediting them $450 because our company's paying the rush fee right now. So you have to take time to work on your business and not just in it. Because if you just work in it, you're literally just reacting all the time and you're treading water. You're not gaining any ground whatsoever.
You know, so you just made a good point, you know, and whether it's mortgage coach or it's something else that you know you should do, but it's simple to do, it's easy to do, but learning to do it, you know, doing it for the first time, doing it for the first 5 to 20 times isn't so easy. You know, in Darren Hardy land, he calls those jam sessions, you know, schedule 90-minute jam sessions. And now he's advocating that, you know, literally you're scheduling these daily. And when you really net out a jam session, it's a really high-value activity where you're doing deep thought work, and you don't want to be interrupted. You know, it's a time where you turn off your notifications, you don't have your mobile phone, you don't have things distracting you so that you can just get things done. You know, in mortgage coach land, that could be everything from knocking out a number of TCAs, doing annual reviews. It's something that it sounds like you're doing that. You're scheduling these, you know, these white spaces of time to either work on deep stuff or learn new habits. I mean, Jeremy, let's stay focused on learning new habits because, you know, with mortgage coach, there's people on the call that, you know, they just haven't done the first 5 total cost analysis, so they haven't done their first 20. You know, what advice do you have for loan officers like that? Because you're a mentor and a coach. You know, what advice do you have for them to get started? Because, I mean, once you've got started, it's not that hard to keep going, but getting started is the hardest part. Right. Anything come to mind?
Yes. So the first thing that I would do if I was a brand new mortgage coach user or just someone who really hasn't used it on and off because they think it's difficult or takes too much time, I would literally create one of these quote-unquote jam sessions that you're talking about. By the way, everything in my calendar is an appointment, so I jam all the time. And everything has a purpose in every single second of the day. So I would literally go into Mortgage Coach Edge and I would just create a borrower called sample. Okay? If you were to log into my Mortgage Coach account, I probably have like 30 different presentations or TCAs, total cost analysis, under someone called sample, because that's where I practice. That's where I mess with, you know, different numbers and just get to know what the software can do. That's how I practiced. If someone paid $500 extra a month, where do I enter that in? So number one is that don't be afraid to just make up a dummy account in there and play with it. That's what it's there for. It's not like you have a limited number of scenarios that you can enter in. The second thing I would say is that keep it really simple. I keep mine extremely simple, and I know that Mortgage Coach Edge can do all kinds of stuff. You can enter in so much information in there, but I tend to keep mine very, 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 very simple. So I don't necessarily fill out every single field that's in Mortgage Coach. I fill out the person's name, the date that I'm doing it, and then just the pertinent information. So I would find, you know, ways to make it simple at first and start by just making sure your numbers are correct. And the third thing I would do is make sure you're utilizing mortgage coach support. Like, you have people that will help you. There are trainings. There are people that you can call, people that you can email and get a support ticket opened and have someone show you how to do something. If you do those three things, you already have teachers that are going to teach you how to use it. You have the tool to use it, and you can go in and use it as much as you want and play with it. Why don't you make it a goal to do 5 Mortgage Coach Ed reports today and under sample, and pick 4 different scenarios. Pick a purchase, pick a refi, see if it comes out the way that it was supposed to or if it looks messed up, and then go back and get some help from someone that can actually show you what you did wrong, and then you won't make that mistake again.
Love it, love it. So I do want to remind everybody we do have in our YouTube channel 70 how-to videos. So pretty much anything you want to know how to do. Many of these are just a couple minutes, and very few of them, they're all in the 10-minute to 5-minute range. So anything you want to know how to do, you can know how to do it in 5 to 10 minutes, and then you can actually do it. So great advice, Jeremy. So I want to make sure we net out your critical few. So we're clear on your mortgage why. And by the way, Jeremy, you mentioned you had something on your desk. Would you mind after this call taking a picture, forwarding it to me? I would love to, just share that with the community.
Sure.
Your mortgage coach why, you're clear on it. Your critical few, would you remind me on those critical few again, just so we can net that out? The critical things that you're doing on a daily basis.
Yeah, critical things that I'm doing on a daily basis. Number one is that I'm doing a team meeting every single morning. So I think that is so important for all of us to do, even if you're a team of 1. Okay, if it's just you, then you're reviewing your loans and where things are at and making sure they're on time. I do a team meeting every single morning with my staff, my loan officer assistants, and my processor. It's 20 minutes. And we're just covering the big issues that we have to deal with that day. Is this the stuff that you're asking me I do on a daily basis, or are you just asking me my top 3 purposes?
Yeah, well, let's do the top 3. But I think this is great too, because I think that's a big takeaway for everyone, that you're doing a huddle every morning with your team. And I don't know how many folks on this call are doing a team huddle, but when I interview top performers, most of them are doing a team huddle. And so they're not being reactive, they're being proactive. So I mean, that's a great takeaway. But I want to kind of, you mentioned client consultations, TCAs.
Yeah.
What are the critical few? And then let's unpack it with all this stuff.
Got it. So thanks for that. I thought I was going in the wrong direction as soon as I started talking. So number 1 would be client consultations. Okay. So those are phone calls with clients or meetings in person with clients. Most of the time, it's a 15-minute phone call. Okay, that's the initial call to understand what they're trying to accomplish. That's where I build rapport. That's where I get them interested in working with me, explain the process so they know what to expect, and that's really, 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 really important. So that's my number 1. Number 2 is to deliver a mortgage coach total cost analysis with video to every single person. Okay, that's my number 2. That's where I sell. That's where I influence. That's where I'm giving advice and showing them solutions to what their issues are. So that would be the second most important thing. And then the third would be to make sure that I am a part of all of the celebrations. Okay, all of the congratulations, you're pre-approved. All of the congratulations, your appraisal is in at value. Congratulations, your loan is clear to close. Congratulations, your loan is funded. I always want to be a part of the successes of the loan so that they think of me subconsciously as someone who is really on top of it and that wins for them. Okay, and I want them to think that, so they'll refer me that way as well. And then if I had to add a 4th thing, like I said, Dave, it's making sure that I address quickly and efficiently any issues or problems that we have on loans that my staff can't deal with.
Got it. Love it. So that's great to get clear on that. And then why don't you kind of list out some of those other things like the team meetings? I think that was a great takeaway, and I want to make sure folks get that.
Sure. Number one is team meeting, team huddle every day. Whether, like I said, whether you're one person, because I always hate it when I do a training or a call and someone goes, yeah, that's great, Jeremy, but I don't have a team. Okay, well, hire someone and stop complaining. Or you are a team. You have you. I had me at one point in my career too. And you got to review stuff every day, because if you don't review it on a daily basis, how do you know what's urgent for you to work on in that day? How do you know what needs your time and how long it will take that you can do it efficiently versus being able to do all the other things that you have to do in a day? So a team check-in, or just call it a check-in every morning, is extremely important to identify urgent issues that you have to deal with. Number two is that I have a call it a philosophy, a motto, a rule. It's a rule that if it's not on my calendar, it does not exist. Okay? If it's not on my calendar, it does not exist. So I work from my calendar as a time management tool to make sure that I can accomplish all the things in my day that I have to accomplish. So things that I book in my calendar are I have an hour every single day that's recurring in my calendar that's called quote-unquote tasks. Really, that time is made up, my tasks are probably about 80% Mortgage Coach Edge presentations. Okay? So I have an hour a day where I am doing predominantly Mortgage Coach presentations. Okay? Other things that I have in my calendar that are blocked off are all my appointments. So I do all of my appointments with clients that call in that are referrals or leads, and I'm generating between 100 and 130 referrals a month right now. So every single person that I talk to is an appointment on my calendar that my assistant makes or that I make via email. So 100% of those are appointments in 15-minute increments. Like I can tell you today, we get off the call, I have a 10 o'clock call with someone. Then I have a 10:30 call, a 10:45, an 11, an 11:45, an 11:30, and then I have a lunch appointment with a real estate agent. So really making sure that you have no open time on your calendar except for the things that are the most important to dollar-driving activities. Extremely, extremely important.
And how much are you prospecting? Let's talk a little bit about your prospecting rhythms and how much time you're spending on that. Let's do that for about another 5 minutes, and then I have a lot of questions around your realtor touch points and how you're managing those 142 realtors. So we'll close out all around your realtor rhythms.
Sure.
But tell us a little bit about your daily prospecting goals.
Yeah. So for me, it's real simple. I'm going to pull it up right here. All right, so every single week I cold call. So these are people that I am not working with. 3 big realtors every single week that I do not work with currently. Okay? So I'm still out there hustling. That's part of the top grading, is trying to find the people that you want to work with. Okay? So I do 3 every single week, so that's 6 every 2 weeks. And I'm trying to set an appointment with them to meet with me. My conversion rate on that is around 20%. Okay, 20% of people, I can get an appointment 20% of the time. I'm calling 2 offices every 2 weeks, so 1 office a week, like an office manager of a real estate office. All right. I am calling 1 builder every single week that I'm currently not working with. We don't have a lot of builders, but I try. And then as far as otherwise, I call 40 realtors every single week. And by the way, these are targets. I am not perfect. I want to keep saying that. Yesterday, I dialed 17. I didn't get through the 40 because I had some really important thing that distracted me that I look back today and go, God, that was stupid. Like, why did I let that distract me from not making the other 23 calls? That could have waited till today, probably. So I'm just like all of you, but these are all my targets, and I hit them more than I miss them, and that's what progress is. Face-to-face appointments, I try to meet with at least 15 people face-to-face every single week. That's realtors, clients, people that can refer me, okay? Of those 15, 5 of them, I do a break bread. I want to share either food with them or have a coffee drink with them, a glass of wine, whatever it is that you want to do, but breaking bread with them is very, very, very important. So 5 of those a week. I want to have a minimum of 60 great conversations with people about real estate and loans every single week. Okay, 60 great conversations. So that breaks out to about 20 hours of prospecting a week. If you count all that stuff into prospecting, meeting with people, I count that all as prospecting, right? That's when we're influencing. That's when we're in front of people. That's when we're on the phone dialing for dollars. That's all prospecting. It's about 20 hours a week. I write 10 thank you cards minimum every single week for gratitude. We usually average about 20 to 30 every single week. And that's kind of those are my generation, my targets every single week, and I track them. Whenever I hit them, I have more deals than what I know what to do with. Whenever I don't hit them, I'm paranoid that I don't have enough deals. So it's a very simple way to organize yourself. And I'd say if I was going to give one thing, Dave, that I'm doing really well right now, that's kind of my magic on prospecting, is I am throwing a massive amount of leveraged events every single week. Every week, I'm doing a leveraged event.
Describe a leveraged event.
Leveraged event is where you are surrounded by 5 or more people in one place at one time.
Got it. Got it. I love it. I love it. Well, again, folks, I mean, is it any wonder Jeremy is so successful? I mean, you do this type of connection with people. And you remember, like, 2 things he gets, there's a video, there's graphs and charts, and then he's just doing it a lot. And if you've ever met Jeremy, you love him. He's transparent. I don't want to say it's simple. It's certainly not easy, but it is a pretty simple formula for success. So let's transition to realtors. What are you sending them on a weekly basis? And then I want to just hear your rhythms for the realtors that you manage, and then we'll kind of throw it out that, hey, if for the people you're going after, you've already told us that you're calling and trying to get a meeting, but what are you marketing to them? What are they getting via email? What are they getting via text? What are the touch points that you're bringing to those agents? But let's start with the 100. Let's just say the 100 that you're managing. If you could delineate the difference between the 100, the 3, and the 42, if there is a difference, delineate that. But walk us through what type of touch points they're getting from you daily, weekly, and monthly.
Sure. So great question, by the way. So as far as let's start with the 100, okay? And I'm going to break it down into one other category too. I'm going to say my top 20. Okay, so I really focus on my top 20 referral sources. Okay, those are ones that I do not skip any week as far as communication is concerned with. So I touch my top 20 no matter how busy I am, no matter whatever the case may be. I'm calling and emailing them every single week no matter what, because those are my business partners. Those are the people that I'm really in a true relationship with. So with the 100, and the 20s included in this too, but with the 100, what I try to do is I email everyone on Friday. And I will self-admit that the last 2 Fridays I haven't done this because I was so bloody busy that I had self-doubt. And I don't have self-doubt today because now I have anxiety because I didn't do it. So it's already done for this week to go out. But in a perfect world, every single Friday I send an email as an item of value out to all the agents in my database that I'm prospecting. Okay? So what does that look like? The email is always me, and Dave, I've sent you some copies of some examples of what I send. I'm always sending them something that is valuable to them in their business, okay? Whether it's about appraisals and what's going on in the industry, and with a solution. It's always challenge in the industry, solution, or why it's a great time to buy in the fall of this year, and going and sending that to them to, hey, this is super helpful for your clients. The reason why I always send out marketing like that rather than a lot of the canned marketing that we all have access to is that, number one, it looks different. Number 2, it came from you. And number 3 is that I need a reason to call these people the next week, okay? I don't like cold calling like every single person on here. No one like really loves cold calling. I'm convinced of that unless you're psycho. So I need a reason that's going to be like a bumper or a warm up my cold call, all right? So if I send you, Dave, an email on Friday that's about appraisal nightmares right now in our industry with a video that I found online, you don't have to make the video. I make a lot of them myself of just me talking, but I do use a lot of video, whether it's me or a link or a cool video that I found online. Like I used, I don't remember what I used, Real Estate Network something. I found this cool video about the appraisal problem. So I typed out the email, put the video to them. Then when I'm calling Dave and he's a new realtor on Monday, it sounds like, hey Dave, it's Jeremy Forcier from People's Home Equity. I sent you an email that was super informational about issue that we're having right now in the real estate industry that could affect you. Did you get a chance to read it? So that's how it works, is that they say yes, or most of the time they say no. Oh, I didn't see it. Oh, cool. Do you have a second? I want to explain it to you so I'd make sure that you can use this in your business and be valuable to you. Whether they say yes or no doesn't matter. It's that it gives me a reason to contact them and talk about something that's valuable for them in their business. Okay.
So Jeremy, I want to make sure everybody knows I did go through my inbox. I found your appraisal nightmare email. I did pull it up so folks could see it. And so one, I just want to shout out that, I mean, there's nothing that special about it, but one thing that is special is it's clean, it's simple, and it's customer centric. Because I do see a lot of emails that loan officers send that it's what they want to tell people. It's not necessarily what they want to hear. So I just want to call out to that. I want to call out to the fact that you've got a nice, very simple. I know what it is in the subject line. And then, folks, Jeremy's calling. So it's not an email and he's expecting the email to do the work. This is an email that's accompanied by a phone call, and he's really turned marketing into a service. Like if you heard Jeremy, if you really listen to what he just said, it's coming from this heart of, I want to help. I want to service you. It's super tailored. Everything you do, brother, is super tailored and on point with people. So anyways, I just want to make sure, folks, you can see an example of it. It's not like, oh my gosh, that is the most visually stunning email I've ever seen. But
I am very simple, you guys. Like I am never going to blow anyone's mind with like the most insane modern graphic email. Like I'm just sharing stuff that I think is valuable. I think that value is in you, and it's in what you bring to the table. It's not so much in, of course I send out sexy ones too if I find a good one that my marketing department created or something, but it has to be valuable. And a big secret into the email to the call transition, Dave, you touched on it real briefly, but I want to hammer it home, is the subject line. Your subject line has to be engaging. If your subject line is not engaging, no one's going to read it. It's just not going to happen. So very, very important. And then I don't look at email marketing as email marketing for monetization. I look at email marketing as a reason for me to talk to someone, because we're still in the business of talking to people. I don't hide behind the keyboard. I'm just creating simple stuff that gives me a reason to have 7 days following me sending that I have a talking point with everyone that I'm talking to. So I use my email marketing as my theme for talking for the next 7 days.
Love it. Okay, so 20, your top 20, you're very specific with. They're getting a weekly communication, both calling 100 realtors, which include the top 20, are getting an item of value. Subject line has to be engaging. The purpose of the email is to help personally connect and talk. I also know that you're always looping in realtors on a total cost analysis.
Correct.
Can you make sure everybody knows your approach on that and how you're doing that?
Yes. So you are missing the boat. If you are using a total cost analysis and you're sending it to someone who is pre-approved or in contract or whatever, include the realtor every single time on that email communication. They love it. They love it. I've had one person tell me ever to hey, don't include me on these, and guess what? I don't work with them anymore. So the people love it. They love the presentation. I mean, I could pull up an email right now, Dave, that I got last week from a whale realtor that I cold called 4.5 months ago. Been following up with her every other week or every week for the last 4 months. Referred me one thing that was really, shaky, didn't work out, but she's been in a long-term relationship with someone. We all have to remember that we are stealing relationships. We're competing for relationships. Like, it's not like these people are just waiting and they don't have a loan officer. All good realtors know mortgage people. So we have to set ourselves apart. So she hit a breaking point this last Friday, emailed me. I have these 4 scenarios. These 2 are refis for her, and these 2 are in contract. They're all with the same guy, and we're super frustrated. I want to know what you can do. What are the rates? So what did I do instead of giving her what the rates were? I did a mortgage coach edge presentation with a video for every single one individually, addressing them individually in the videos, and I sent her all 4 links and said, please watch these, etc., etc. Emails me back, OMG, exclamation mark. I absolutely love this. I love the way it's formatted. It was so clear and professional. I so appreciate it. I forwarded these 2 off to the 2 different respective borrowers, and my husband and I will take a look at this over the weekend, and I will let you know that regardless of what happens with these, because they're already in process down the road, I will be using you moving forward, period. And that's the type of power that these videos have. That's the type of, like, I have another gal who's newer, whale. I call whales, by the way, are big realtors that do 20+ transactions in my market. I call them whales, okay? So that's what I go after. And she's referred me 6 people in the first 3 weeks of our relationship. I've done this process exactly the same way every time, include her on the borrower's emails and the presentations, and every single time, she's the one who's asking me the questions. I love it. She emails me back, hey, I noticed in the video they need this and the rate was this. Is that what should I put that on the contract? Yeah, do that. Put that on the contract. That's exactly what you should use it for. So it opens up, it puts you on a different level, okay, than the competitors, because all of our competitors are not doing this, and they're not, and even if they are, a lot of them aren't including the realtors on it, so the realtors don't even know what our wow service looks like. You can't keep it a secret. You have to share it with them, and they will be uber impressed with you, I promise.
I love it, man. So first of all, folks, I can see that only about 40% of you are watching the screen, and while there's no doubt this has been like a podcast, you get the value, listen, driving in your car, listen to this interview and get all the value. But I am taking notes, so check it out online. Let's get 70% of you paying attention to that. Jeremy, you threw out, I don't want to call it a new idea, I've heard this before, but it sounds like including the realtor on the total cost analysis to the buyer is a big value point. But I hadn't heard you talk about, you sent a new agent examples of the TCA. So, I mean, that's what you did, right? I mean, you said, hey, new agent,
yeah,
this is what your borrowers are going to get. Let's talk about how they refer you, because I know just when you and I have talked, one of the things that's different, they're not just calling you and saying, will you pre-qual me? Right. They're calling up and saying, hey, I want that total cost analysis.
Right.
So what do you say to the realtors? How are you getting to the point to where they're calling you for something of value? They're not just calling you like they're calling every other loan officer and saying, what do I qualify for, or what's your rate? If you could just put a little color around that in the last 5 minutes here and tell us, how have you gotten that?
Yeah, no problem. So first of all, it's all in your expectation setting up front, right? So I'm always setting the table. By the way, the 70% of you that aren't watching this screen, this is what we were talking about at the beginning. This is what should be in your calendar right now. Just do this right now, okay? Don't
Right.
look at anything else. Like, it's just idiotic. I mean, please, I love you guys, but don't do it. It's a waste of time otherwise. Pay attention, okay? So it's all about expectation management at first and making sure they understand how your process works. So you have to be clear on your process, explain it to them. I explain that every single person is going to get this awesome presentation with a video explaining all the different options available to them and why, so that they can ask better questions. So I'm setting that expectation up front in my relationships, that this is what you can expect from me. Call back within 2 hours from myself or my team, an appointment set, pre-approved within 24 hours, and me sending out a really detailed explanation and a video explaining everything with you included on it so you can ask questions too within 24 hours from pre-approval. So they know what to expect, and then when you deliver on it, you instantly build trust. Okay? When you deliver on what you say, you instantly build trust. So there's nothing more than I love, and I get requests every single week from agents because one of my scripts, by the way, to calling agents when I feel like I don't know what to say, because I'm just like you guys, is I call and say, hey, can I help you with anything? Do you have any listings going sideways right now or represent any buyers that haven't met contingency periods? Okay, I use that script a lot, and when they come to me with, yes, actually I am having an issue on this one, I go, hey, if you want to shoot me over this scenario, I don't want to pressure someone who's in a stressful situation, but I'm more than happy to put together one of these total cost analysis spreadsheets with a video, and you can forward it on to them to see, maybe it will pique their interest in taking a second look. So when people contact me now, I love it. Every week I get emails, hey Jeremy, I have an issue or whatever, I have this problem on this loan, or I'm trying to flip this buyer over to you because they're using an out-of-area lender. Can you do me a favor and make one of those videos? Here's the purchase price and the down payment. So they are marketing for me, and they're asking for the total cost analysis. So it's extremely, extremely important that everyone knows that you can create things that can be shared. And if we create things that can be shared, we can create a sales force for us that's out there in the streets marketing for us in a very non-aggressive way that's efficient.
I love it. So Jeremy, we're going to close with one more question. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to think of your answer for it, and it's going to be around, what are you doing to communicate with all of your pre-approved prospects? Okay. So I'm going to share a few thoughts and then be ready. I would love for you, one, how many pre-approvals do you manage at any one time, and what are you sending to them? But while you're thinking of how you're going to answer it, I want to remind anybody that loves Jeremy, and by the way, everybody loves you. I'm getting folks saying, I love this guy. You just have a way about you, bro. But we did a call earlier this year called Mortgage Coach Scripts with Tim Brahim, Jeremy Forcier, and Danny Harani. I mean, this call was incredible. If you really want to just net out scripts, and it's this year, it's relevant, it's now, check that out. Also, a couple years ago, I did an interview, Jeremy, I don't know if you remember this, how to build and manage your team, and actually Jeremy's team was on the call, and I think that was just an awesome call that I wanted to shine a light on. You and I did a call, and within that call, I asked you a question, what are the questions you ask realtors in your meetings? And you just said, here's the top 5 questions. And by the way, this is netted out. It's 4 minutes and 43 seconds. So I'm going to show you guys how to find all this in a minute. And then lastly, a call from a few years back where we did Mortgage Coach Scripts with Jeremy and Josh Metal. So while Jeremy's talking, I'm going to show you guys how to find it. So, you just go to the Mortgage Coach page. But let's close it out with you answering that question, Jeremy. And everybody, hopefully you're watching. I'm just doing a search and to go to in the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel. So Jeremy, how would you answer that?
So real simple. There's 3 ways that you can stay in touch with pre-approvals. 1 is calling them, 2 is emailing them, and 3 is getting in front of them. You're going to be, you're most effective if you can do all 3. I do 1 very well, and the other 2 I'm not great at, but I still do. Okay, so the one thing that I do very well is that, and once again, it's the expectation up front set, is that anyone who's pre-qualified or pre-approved with us gets a call every other Wednesday forever. Every other Wednesday forever. So we have 181 pre-approvals on our Excel sheet right now, and so 90 of those people...
Wait, how many?
180.
Okay, 180 pre-approvals. Got it.
Okay, so some of these people have been on this list for 2 years. I don't know if they'll ever buy, but guess what? They're going to buy with me if they do, and they refer me because we stay in touch with them. So I have one person, okay, that works for me that every Wednesday, that's all they do. They work 1 day a week, and they just make calls for 8 hours to half the list, and then they rotate every other week. At the end of the day, on that Wednesday, I get an email back from them with how many people I called, how many people I spoke with, the list of people to remove because they're not going to buy a house, not in the market, asked to be removed, already bought without me, whatever. Okay, and then the last section is people that request information. Call this person, they want updated numbers at 450,000. This person was wondering about this new angel program thing. This person, so every other week they get a contact via phone. I'm really bad about emailing my pre-approvals, and that's one thing that's on my business plan to correct. I should be emailing them once a month as well, but I'm not. Okay, so I got to change that. And then the third part is throwing an event. So every quarter I throw a happy hour that I invite my pre-approvals to as well, so that they can, number one, get back in front of me, re-engage, have a little fun. I'm being very generous to them because they haven't done a loan with me yet, and they get to interact with my clients that already love me, that are there. So it's also a little bit of selling, but not me selling, my clients selling. So those are the three ways that are the most effective, I think, as far as staying in front of pre-approvals.
Love it, brother. Well, hey, this has been an awesome call. We're going to have you back because we got so many questions that came in. But every mortgage coach on this call, I want to remind you, we do live training every single day of the week. We teach you how to deliver these mobile experiences to families. Every Wednesday, that means tomorrow at 11 o'clock Pacific, we do mobile training. So we teach you how to use our apps, how to share the TCA, to the family, how to do it at open houses. Everything you need to do to be successful, we're here to help you go to the next level. Jeremy, thanks, brother. Any last thoughts as we wrap up today's call?
Just do it like Nike. If you're not using it, start to use it. Do one thing at a time, and just know that it's all worth it. If you think you don't have time, you do.
Love it. Hey, thanks, brother. Wish you were here at Sales Mastery with me. For anybody that's on this call and you are here at Todd Duncan Sales Mastery, be sure to come by, see me. I'll be around. We'll be at our booth. I look forward to seeing a lot of great friends over the next couple days. Take care, brother.
All right,
and by the way, as you leave the call, let us know how we did on a scale of wow, good, average. Let us know what you thought as you leave today's call. Take care, everybody.